This week, we're talking all about assignment sales. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Justin Little, and I'm a local real estate agent here in Hamilton, Ontario. And for those of you that don't know, I love making educational videos about the market. This week, we have a super cool topic, and that is assignment sales. It is a niche market that I specialize in. I can't believe I've never talked about it really before to do a video, so I'm excited to do it this week. You guys know the usuals. Hit that like button, get this in front of more people that can benefit from this content, and subscribe. Join the growing community. Let's jump forward. What exactly is an assignment sale? So an assignment sale is when somebody has purchased a property and now they are trying to sell the purchase agreement for that property to a new buyer. Generally, they do it for a profit. However, in today's market, it is mostly happening at losses, which is why assignment sales, if you're an investor looking right now, it's a great way to be picking up properties for 5 to 15% below market value, some cases even more. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later in this video, so stay tuned for that. But an example of an assignment sale would be, I went out and I purchased a new construction condo unit. Now, closing's coming up. I either don't want to close because I don't want to lay out the money, or I know I can't close because since I bought the unit, interest rates tripled and now I can't get a mortgage. So essentially what I have to do is try to sell that agreement of purchase and sale, hope somebody else will come in, buy that contract, close on the unit, and I'm off the hook. Now, when you're buying these, there are some pros and some cons. So if you're an investor, and the reason I'm talking about investors, or even if you're primary use, it's a great way to pick up a unit for cheap. Now, especially right now at the time of this video, what is it? It's January 15th, 2024. So if you're watching this video in 2025 and things are completely different, don't hold me to it. But we'll do an update video. So the pros of this are you're buying real estate at a discount, because right now we're in a situation where people can't close on these units, so they have to sell it and they are letting them go below market value. The con is you need way more cash than a resale property to close on these things. So to give you some examples, you not only have to pay the regular closing costs of legal fees, land transfer tax, you also have to pay these development charges, which sometimes are capped and sometimes are not. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at the agreement of purchase and sale, it says whether there's a cap or not. Sometimes there's clauses in the agreement of purchase and sale that say that the development charge was an incentive to the original buyer, so they won't transfer it to the new buyer. So you might not get that incentive if you're buying it. So you got to make sure what you're buying comes with that cap. So that cap is usually $5,000, $10,000, maybe $12,000. Whereas if you didn't have that cap, you could be paying $40,000, $60,000 in additional fees just to close on the unit. That's on top of your land transfer tax and legal fees. And then more so, you're going to have to most likely pay the HST up front. Now, the HST is built into the purchase price, and the builder does submit that, and I guess they get a rebate from the government for that HST when the unit is being used as a primary use. So if you're buying it and you're looking to move into the unit, you might not have to give HST up front, but 99% of the time you're going to have to, and then you're going to have to apply for the rebate afterwards. If you are a investor, you're 100% going to have to pay that HST up front. Now, the only way to get the HST back into your pocket is by getting a 1-year lease on the property. Once that lease is in place, you can apply for the rebate and get your rebate. So it's right from when the lease is signed. You don't have to worry about when the lease is actually done, like not at the end of the year. No, just get the lease in place, apply for your rebate. So some of the cons is really that you need to have a lot more cash up front versus buying a resale unit, but you are rewarded right now because you will be buying properties at a discount. There are people that are walking away from $150,000, $200,000 deposits in the GTA on condos. I'm seeing it every single day. So you just definitely want to keep in mind that you need to have enough cash to close the deal. However, we do put things in the offer when you are buying an assignment that you have 10 days to get your financing in order. You have 10 days to have a lawyer review everything to make sure that we're not missing anything. And lastly, we put a condition in there for the builder to actually approve the transaction and make sure that they're approving that the development charges are the development charge cap is transferred to you. Now, if you're a seller, things aren't the greatest right now. Lately, I've been breaking a lot of hearts when I'm getting inquiries on these things because unfortunately, the market just isn't where it was when you purchased in 2021. And more so, when people were buying in 2021, builders were pricing units 2 or 3 years future value. Like they were selling them higher than it was even at the current resale market value, because they knew that people were buying future value. What people didn't see was the market taking the turn it did. And who can blame them? It's not your fault that the market went down. It's not like you made a bad decision. These things happen. Buying new construction has been a risk for the last 10, 12 years. It was always a risk, but people were making money. Market was going up. Everything was good. It was almost impossible to lose. So for the first time now, we are seeing people that took that gamble lose. And now you're in a boat, unfortunately, where you may have purchased a unit that you can't close on. So what do you have to do? You have to sell it. You have to try to recuperate as much money as possible. So if you are selling, when we're talking about the pros, I guess the pro is it gets you off of the hook of having to close on the unit. That's really your only pro. The con is you're likely taking a loss on the sale. It's not like 4 or 5 years ago, you'd be able to assign a unit. Maybe you made 50,000, 100,000. Now you're hoping to only lose maybe 50,000, 100,000. Best case scenario, you break even. But this isn't everybody, because if you did purchase in 2019 and for some reason there's just been delay, and you're going to close on it, you probably still can make some money on it. But for people that bought in the peak 2021, peak 2022, January, February, odds are you are going to be selling at a loss. Another con is these things are just flooded out there in the market. There are tons of them. You essentially have to price it below market value in order to attract buyers, to give them a reason to purchase your unit over just going out and purchasing one that's already built, that's like a year old, closed. They know what they're getting. They can walk into it. They can see it. They can see themselves living there. You have to give some incentive. So one con is that you have to understand you're probably going to get less than what the current resale market is. So in terms of a general market, though, if we were talking whether it wasn't up or down, one con of these is all the taxes that you have to pay if you do make a bit of a profit. So you do have to pay HST on the profit. You do have to pay any income that comes in is actually considered business income, not capital gains. So 100% of the gain is taxable. That's another thing. And then as well, you still have to pay some legal fees to get everything transferred. Now, one thing that you want to make sure of if you are a seller doing this, you want to make sure that you have a condition in your offer for the builder to approve the transaction. The last thing you want to do is do this assignment and the builder doesn't give approval, but you've sold the papers. It just creates a very messy situation. So that's just something to keep in mind. You also want to make sure that whoever's buying it has, we see some sort of financial verification that yes, they can close on this, whether it's a letter from a mortgage broker or a lender or something like that, just saying, yes, they are approved. Here it is. We're good to go, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you've assigned this thing and then closing comes and then we have issues because the new buyer actually can't close on it themselves. So in conclusion, I guess an assignment sale, pros and cons on both sides. In today's current market, it's definitely a buyer's market. So if you're out there looking, these are great ways to find a deal. If you're a seller, you have to understand the market doesn't always go up. And unfortunately, recently it has gone down. So you are likely going to be selling your unit for quite a bit less than you paid for it. And that's just the facts of things. Of course, that is depending how long ago you bought it and what market you bought it in. If you have any questions about assignment sales at all, if you know somebody that wants to pick one up, you know somebody needs to sell one, I'm happy to do it. This is something I specialize in. Click the link in the description below to book a discovery call with me at a time that is convenient for you, and I'm happy to discuss it. Anyways, hope you have a great day. Talk to you again next week.